The Activist Soul, Why Care About Anything But Yourself? Chapter 1. Why Care About the Future? Why be an activist? There has been a battle for the soul of the human race ever since we came into being on planet Earth. As individuals, we all have a dark side inherent in our natures. There is nothing we can about that except maybe for genetic engineering or some kind of spiritual evolution. As a collective group of people, we have the potential to create a great planet where we all live prosperous lives working together, sharing the bounty with some manner of fairness, love, and equality, but we don't because of greed. There is poverty, homelessness, and war everywhere while some people live in frivolous excess because the rulers of the world have made it like this. We, the people, vastly outnumber the few people that control the world through business, banking, religion, politics, elitist organizations, and institutions. All these forces keep us weak by dividing and conquering us, making us think we're separate as with racial differences, religious differences, political differences, etc. But we, the people of the world, can dethrone these few elitists to rule ourselves if we unite. All we need is 1 million people in any nation to occupy the government buildings and demand online voting on the big issues one by one. This would be true democracy. The political parties will not reduce the military budgets, but the people will if they can vote on it online. Something like, what should we do about the military budget? A. Increase it by 10%. B. Keep it the same. C. Reduce it by 25%. D. Reduce it by 50%. E. Reduce it by 75%. F. Reduce it by 90%. Politicians are out for themselves regardless of what face they put on for the people. Get rid of many of them or replace them by having the people vote online on the issues. I have never seen one politician say we get paid way too much for the little bit of work we actually do to help people improve their lives. The truth is that they do almost nothing. The party leader gets his orders from shadow elitists, then tells his or her party which way to vote. Benjamin Disraeli said over 100 years ago that they're just the frontline managers anyway. Other people control the world. Regardless of who is actually running the governments, the undeniable fact is that they all had plenty of time to solve the world's problems but didn't. It's an archaic way of running the human race. My case against politicians is threefold. 1. They spend the money on useless things that do not help the people directly, like their salaries, perks, and pensions, excessive bureaucracy in any capital city, the military, national security, state imperialism, excessive regulations, licensing and enforcement, pomp, ceremony, tradition, foreign affairs, statistics, big experimental scientific projects and useless projects to buy votes. 2. They help their business allies at the expense of helping the people, like free trade laws which trash industry in many countries, while the multinational corporations go to third world nations to manufacture products on the cheap to sell back to the home nation and make great profits while the home factories go bust. 3. There is also the matter of how the central bankers and bankers in general control the economies of nations. Politicians are afraid of them. We, the people, have to eliminate the politicians in order to get at these shadow governments to destroy their power and take it ourselves as concerned citizens of planet Earth. The big political parties are selfish gangs owned by big business interests. They are no ideological differences. It's all about winning an election. They use a marketing method called the Constituent Information Management System, CIMS, to survey people looking for ideas that will get them the most votes. They spy on internet usage, then target political ads at individuals that they think will get them a vote. The human lets 30,000 kids die of malnutrition and illness every day according to UNICEF. Wars between countries are created by people who make money from them. Where I live in Halifax, Canada, there is several $1 billion of military stuff in Halifax Harbour which we don't need because Canada has never been attacked, but there are homeless people at the homeless shelter every day. The spiritual wealth of a nation is how inspired and positive the people are about their lives every day. If you help poor, homeless, and disabled people by giving them modest housing and job training if they want it, many improve thereby adding hope and vision to the spiritual economic development of a nation. Some of them will rise to do great things for humanity. All life is local, right here, right now. Nations should stay out of other people's business unless they ask for help. World trade is bad in things that locals can make themselves because the multinational corporations get rich and pollute the world shipping stuff from places where it's manufactured cheaply, causing unemployment in many nations. The world is in the midst of a corporate military security dictatorship right now. We, the people, can do great things if we unite, get rid of the tyrants and set up governments that we control online. Are we so stupid or pacified that we will let others rule us? Why do anything? Activism comes down to one thing. You see the pain. It hurts you. You feel you should do something about it. This is what separates activists from your regular self-centered mook. They want to sincerely help people, animals, or the planet. There are 30,000 kids dying every day somewhere of poverty while we choose to be callous to it, spending our time doing meaningless things like wondering if the square footage of our houses are big enough or if we need cosmetic surgery. Nobody on planet Earth knows for sure whether the burning of fossil fuels or something else we're doing will warm the planet enough to cause floods and a shift of the axis or change the composition of the atmosphere enough to kill all human life. We, the people, will only get what we want when enough of us step forward to add our dissension to the mix. The Magna Carta, the Declaration of Independence, Declaration of the Rights of Man, the Polish worker strikes, the fall of communism and the Ukraine Revolution all happened only when enough people were willing to say, I've had enough of this crap, I'm ready to stand up and put my voice to this cause. If you have a noble soul and a conscience, you can't live under the delusion that the government and corporate forces are there to take care of you and look out for your best interests, then fill your mind up with all that pop culture crap and think it's cool and you're pretty cool because you're following it like all the other pop culture clones around you who think you're cool and in the in crowd of what's cool in life. They can turn on a dime on you so fast that your head will spin and fall off. They've done it many times before. They will do it again. In Canada, somebody is letting millions of immigrants in. There is a massive housing crisis. Natives are competing with immigrants for jobs. Inflation is high. People are scared but they still need distraction. They're watching the sports, drinking alcohol, smoking the legal grass. We're powerless as individuals. We need a bunch of people to unite and say we need a paradigm change. We don't want elected representatives all that much. We can replace them with ombudsmen to help us in our dealings with the government. We want to create ideas then vote on them online as a society. Every individual can cast an online vote for important bills. That would be true democracy. Unless you have good people running a government sincerely out to help the people, be ready for a bunch of self-centered wolves in sheep's clothing pretending to want to help the people but really interested in helping themselves and constantly getting more control and power over the people. When you see them passing laws that take away your money and freedoms little by little in the name of security or prosperity, you had better do something lest you end up living in a paper democracy that is really an oligarchy in disguise, ruled by a wealthy few who do what they want and won't give a damn about the people until enough of them revolt against this repressive regime. Then the cycle will be repeated all over again. This seems to be the universal story of humanity. Just about everybody, no matter how well-intentioned they are when they first get power, fall prey to its seductive grip and want more and more control until the people get tired and either string them up or kick them out. The terrorists are a handful of ragtag phantoms hiding in caves without much money to do anything who have been manufactured by the right-wing arm of the mainstream media and the government to be this vast army of meanies hiding around every corner ready to destroy our way of life. But it's not about that. It's about the government and secret societies getting control of the world so they can run it the way they want without much interference from the common masses like you. The terrorist threat is a convenient excuse to give them carte blanche to do what they want. At one time, an individual could live outside the system if he wanted to. He could travel around without an ID card and deal in cash. It's getting harder to live this way. Some people don't want to be a part of any system. I foresee a day when there will be an invisible dictatorship in the world. They won't tell you it's a dictatorship. They will tell you it's a protective system put into place for your own good. On face, for the conformists, it won't seem like a repressive regime because they're dull people who don't do much anyway. They got a building owned by the NSA in Utah right next to a major search engine company. Invisible forces behind the scenes can cause depressions, start wars, and cut the supply of oil off to countries. What happens then? The food can't be transported. Many electrical utility companies run on oil. What happens when there is no food and electricity? What about when your national currency, the American dollar or whatever it is, suddenly loses half of its buying power overnight? American government debt is so high that it's only a matter of time before the economic system implodes on itself. A multi-trillion-dollar debt will never be repaid. It's a joke anyway because the Federal Reserve created this money out of nothing, lent it to the US federal government and now want it back at compound interest. Who are the owners of this private central bank? It's a hokey system. Most people do not have the patience to listen to Bill Still's videos on the monetary system. The people in power are able to manipulate the people any way they want, just like they did in the 1930s. The Great Depression of 1929 was manufactured by the elite bankers of the world. Do you want to pay 4 months of your wages every year in taxes to an inept government who wastes your money left and right and plunders your freedoms? Most people can't seem to accept the fact that the government with its military and police are not your friends. They are not out for your interests, just theirs. Right now you think that you are a friend of the government, a patriotic, tax-paying citizen, but what happens when the government sets its sights on you? Will they perceive you as a friend then? Who will care? A truly liberated government does not document the people and control them. Misery comes from the disparity between wealth and poverty, from the efforts of the wealthy to get wealthier and protect their interests while keeping the poor down in their place in what amounts to indentured servitude. If you've ever read a book like Thomas Berry's The Great Work, The Greening of America by Charles A. Reich, or saw someone like Ralph Nader or David Suzuki speak, you would see that there are intelligent, wise people out there very serious about the state of the world, so it can't all be overrated hype. Save the world. Oil is used for more than just producing energy. It's used to make plastics, asphalt, and other products, so what are we going to use when we burn it all up in energy? The world may not be capable of regenerating itself forever. If we keep polluting the air and the water, we don't know if there will be a point of critical mass where the damage is not reversible anymore. When you see the planet from outer space, you realize how fragile the Earth is, this little ball of life in the midst of the darkness with that thin layer of atmosphere around it that makes all life possible. This is all we have that separates us from oblivion, a thin layer of atmosphere and a magnetic field that deflects away cosmic debris. What would it take for the percentage of gases in it, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc., to change just enough to not sustain life anymore, or to raise the temperature enough such that the ice caps melt and the resulting water floods much of the planet, or the planet tilts on its axis because of the weight change? Nobody really knows. Free your mind. Don't buy into all that liberal arts psychobabble they teach you in school, that pop culture crap they want you to see as the standard of coolness to try to imitate, the capitalist ideology of ambition to get whatever you want even if it means destroying other people called your competition while exploiting the earth, and finally, probably the biggest one of all, eating up what the mainstream media constantly preaches at you without questioning it and being critical of it, because after all, the media is controlled by the people in power, namely the government, the big corporations, the shadow government, and they're all about promoting their own expansionist agendas while minimizing the other viewpoints. After you find personal enlightenment as to what's real in life, find your own personal meaning in life. Chapter 2. Can the UN or anybody save the world? Who runs the world? Jordan Maxwell thinks the Vatican through the Jesuits run the world. Some people think that archons, the Nephilim, or the fallen angels run the world. Who runs the world? Everybody says it's the people who run the money, the people behind the central banks, which would be the Bank for International Settlements, BIS.org, and the central banks and banks of every country. Who runs them runs the world. Why do people want to blow us up? If you don't want terrorism, don't use abuse, exploit, bully or terrorize other people. Don't be an imperialist. People don't do terroristic acts for nothing. There's a reason for it. Look in the mirror and you might find it. Some people call it karma, what goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. Get out of your self-centered world for a while and see yourself as others see you. All you have to do is keep your nose out of other people's business and tend to your own garden. You can go to the YouTube channel AJ and see videos about what's going on, then you will understand that the side that the mainstream media supports are not the automatic good guys. The so-called good guys are pretty evil once you see what they're doing. You can hide the truth away and lie about it. That's the thing. You can create fake truth in the media. Over 95% of us believe in things that aren't true. Listen to your heart. Unjust laws exist. Shall we be content to obey them, or shall we endeavor to amend them, and obey them until we have succeeded, or shall we transgress them at once? Henry David Thoreau, on Civil Disobedience. As long as the mainstream media promotes a life of material excess and elitism based on material wealth as the keys to happiness and success, as opposed to individuals following their true natures trying to do something good and noble with their lives because they feel it within themselves, society will continue to be messed up as millions of lost souls sell their souls for the system's version of success. The concept of activism is basically one of a sense of duty and accountability to what you feel is right, good, and honorable for yourself and for the world. It's simple to live as a righteous person. Just take what you're good at and share it with the world. If you see something wrong or immoral being committed that will affect the planet or the welfare of people somewhere and you have guts and backbone, you should do something about it. Tell the authorities, and if they don't listen, do whatever you have to do within the bounds of the law and beyond the law if you must in order to be heard. Get your point across and make the right changes to correct the problem, or at least try to change things for the better. When something immoral is going on, you have the right to transcend the law to try to stop it. Your authority is the moral force within yourself you were born with, given to you by your God. If you have to break the current laws of the land to stop an injustice, do it because it's the right thing to do. Laws were created by men often plotting for their own self-interest. Good people do what's right with no bias for self-interest. Even though there are whistleblower laws in place to protect people who expose wrongdoing, laws can't dictate the way they will be blackballed and shunned even if they keep their jobs. Who wants to work in a place where everybody hates them or at least avoids them because they have been stigmatized as a big mouth, tattletailer, whistleblower? It's not easy to do the right thing in some circumstances, especially if it's where you work, but your conscience should be your guide throughout life, even if the cost is high. Don't accept what is fed to you in the media at face value. Nobody is above reproach, not government institutions, corporations, religious institutions, academic institutions, etc. Everybody has their own agenda which could go against the public interest at some point in time. When you see something wrong happening anywhere that affects the public good, you can take action. Unless it's an emergency, keep quiet at first until you investigate it more to make sure you're right. Tell a confidant or two and ask for help in your investigation. Don't be a loose cannon, going off half-cocked without doing your research. Get the facts, then if you still see the wrongdoing, get the message out. Your highest authority is your conscience. If you are ever asked to do an immoral act that affects the public good, your responsibility is to refuse to do it. You have a legal right to refuse to do immoral acts. There are basically 3 types of wrongdoing. 1. Doing something you know is wrong, like dumping poisons in the sewage system. 2. Deception, lying, like saying a drug is safe when it isn't. 3. Keeping your mouth shut when it's your responsibility to blow the whistle, like the officers at Enron who knew the managers were faking the records but they went along with it when they should not have. There is also negligence, doing something inadvertently wrong without criminal intent, like a ship with a leaky tank that spills oil without them realizing it. How would you change the world if you could, or do you give a damn? Find an idea that will help everybody, then work to unite as many people as you can to come together to make this happen. Most of the time, great things are done when lots of people get together to overwhelm whoever is in power and do it themselves. My idea is true democracy. I think we should get rid of most politicians and create a system where the people create ideas and vote on them electronically, but keep a few elected politicians on a short leash to vote on their big ideas. An activist code. Here are a few points I think are good for a personal moral code you can live by. If you feel that what you're doing doesn't feel right, examine yourself. If you're operating in a gray area of the law, appeal to a higher order, your own conscience. Strive to be happy. Live every day with conscious energetic gusto. Take only what you need. Give what you own and don't need away to poor people. Don't waste what you take. Don't buy frivolous things you don't really need just to give you a momentary fuzzy feeling of comfort or to make you feel cool and trendy. Respect the sanctity of life. Help others. Keep a sense of integrity. If people don't feel they can trust you, you're screwed. Think before you make a decision that will impact people's lives. Respect other people's lives and opinions. Do your best. Don't point fingers in envy. Look at yourself. Have compassion for others. Help the people whose job or calling is to help people. Love people enough to let them live in your heart. Do the right thing. Desire more out of life than just things and goals for yourself. Think about the good of the world. Don't do evil. Don't knowingly cheat people or exploit them. When and if you get into a position of power, don't abuse it. Have an attitude of gratitude. We're all vulnerable to sad events. We must accept them, offer support where possible and move on. Don't look back. Flush all tragedies and sad events down the toilet. A few activist videos. Watch these videos, then realize how much more there is than you can imagine. YouTube.com. Head of the Snake, Wexner, Maxwell's, Mossad and Mega Group exposed. Channel, epub. YouTube.com. The Media and Dismantling the Federal Reserve, with Nelson Thal. Channel, Strange Planet. YouTube.com. Economic Forecast, Hour 1, Mystery Babylon and Deep State, Hour 2. Strange Planet. YouTube.com. The Money Masters, 1800. Channel, The Still Report. Bill Still.